Hey guys, All Sports 83 sporting another video at you, and today we're going to be going over all of the events for the Camber Cup Series race number 1 at Daytona. If this is a new series to you, I recommend going back and checking out the first video, which was a Clash event. It highlighted the qualifying race for this race, and basically I'm going to be chronicling my experience in this series. Some guys invited me to come and join along and have a little fun with them, so we're just going to go ahead and jump in and see what happens in the first race of the season for the Camber Cup Series. So if you've had a chance to go back and check out the first video for this series, the Clash qualifying race, you should be able to see from this viewpoint that I was able to win that race and get the pole. So that was exciting. It was a fun race, really enjoyed it. And so it's always nice to go ahead and kind of have a leg up here at the very beginning of this race, and I was able to get out front and spent quite a bit of time out front here, so it doesn't look as interesting from this point of view, even though it was a lot of fun to kind of have some clean racing. We'll probably skip ahead at some point and check out some more interesting things coming up. So here's at the end of stage 1. I've led every lap at this point, so we're getting ready to go through green flag pit stops. So I've led the first 14 laps, 4-tire pit stop. Got to get all that fuel in, but don't really get out in front. So you can see there's a car in front of me there. So already I'm going to know that the complexion of this race is going to change. It's very different when you're out front as opposed to right now drafting another guy. Buffy Fan 95, he asked me to pick him up, so I elected to do so. I thought it'd be a nice gesture. You never know when you'll be doing some favors for guys. They might need to give you a favor later on. Then you get a caution that came out, so it's time to go back down pit road, try to get more fuel, try to get yourself set up for a good finish in stage 1. I elected to take fuel only. I wanted to try to maintain as much track position as I could. I did make it out in first place, however a guy stayed out, so now I'm kind of stuck on that high side for this restart. At this point, I'm just looking for a hole, and the high line is just not a good place to restart here. You'd have to really get through the gears and have the guy underneath you to have a problem. But my man Jay Harris here, he lets me in, gives me a spot inside, and so I'm able to get kind of settled in here in the 6th position, and then try to start making some moves, I should say, as guys kind of get out of the groove. As long as you can hold that line and it's not too aggressive, you can kind of move up. Then we had a caution that came out. I'm not really sure why. Now here we got the restart again. So now I'm on the inside, and it lets me get behind Buffy Fan 95 and push on him, and puts me up into the 2nd position. Here's my moment here. I got my teammate, sort of, and Jay Harris behind me. I'm going to try to move up, and he doesn't go with me for some reason. I mean, he's not obligated to do that. And then for some reason, we get a little contact there, and I get up into the wall. But so what looked like to be a really good opportunity really went negative very, very quickly there. So not really sure what happened. And then we get a 5th place finish coming to the end of that stage. So. Once again, I get stuck on that outside with a restart, and it's just very disadvantaged to be up there and just kind of scrambling, trying to find that hole. It's just not coming. And then this light yellow car gets in trouble there. I think that was Walking Avenger that had issues. But then we have another caution that comes out, so we're now in stage 2. It was a quick caution, and then we're right back to it. But again, I get to be on that inside, and we're looking for more track position here, trying to set ourselves up to be in a good position as we move through the 2nd stage. You notice the guy in front of me gets a little squirrely, and I had to check up, and that's a lot of what this racing is about, dragging the brake and doing everything you can not to run over guys. It's not always possible. It's very difficult. As you can see, another caution came out, and here's another restart. But you're doing a lot of that. You're trying to not run guys over, but you don't want to lose a lot of momentum, but you're also trying to check up where you can so you're not causing wrecks. This super speedway racing is it's a different kind of racing for sure. Alright, so we've survived a little bit of things here, and as you can see, we're starting to probably getting ready to come up on some green flag pit stops again. I actually get the lead. I've got Jay Harris behind me before we decide we're going to come down pit road, and so again we go through these green flag pit stops, and it's really important to get all the speed you can getting in. So we come back out in second place, but we have Fluffy in front of us. He had a really nice, clean, fast pit stop, and we were able to draft up to him. But man, he was so hard to get around. This was drawing near the end of the stage. I was doing everything I can to win the stage, but he was doing such a good job of blocking. I would make a move. It's almost as if he anticipated it. He's very good here. And I even had help. Jay Harris behind me was trying to go with me when we were trying to make that move. There you see it there. I tried to get up to his quarter panel, and I just couldn't quite get there. And here we have another move here. I'm trying to get up to his outside, make a little contact there. I may have been a little further along that time, but again, they're split second decisions, and he was doing a really good job. But here's the last lap. I'm trying to go with Jay, and then I go a little too far underneath him here in this one moment, and we just get a little contact here, and I don't think he noticed that I was underneath him at that point, and I hate it for him, but it did allow us to get the second place finish. It really wasn't on purpose, but that's basically the way stage 2 ended up. You can see, based on this restart, a lot of pushing, trying to get up to speed. I'm pushing Fluffy as hard as I can to see if we can make any headway on this top lane, which is very difficult to do. The guys on the bottom are also pushing, and so a lot of focus through this portion of racing. This kind of racing requires a lot of portion. You can't really take any time off in your head. So, but it's fun. It's challenging, but it's a lot of fun. We got out of the groove here. Probably had a moment. I can't really remember. I'm not sure what happened, but I got away from the lead draft, and so I'm sitting here in 7th position, way back. But we catch a lucky break. Caution comes out, and it's going to draw the field back together. And of course, here's the restart after going down pit road and getting 4 tires and fuel. And so basically, we're back in it at this point, and it's important during this final stage. You get out of the draft in the final stage and there are no cautions, you're pretty well done for the race. And then I kind of had a bonehead move here. I was trying to follow Fluffy. Wasn't really sure what I was thinking. I had the 41 car underneath me, and that was just totally my fault there. So obviously that brought out another caution. Totally my fault. I got to own that one. But we get back under the restart here. I started in last place because I was involved in the caution. I caused the caution. But basically, we get back under green here and see if we can't put ourselves in position to win this thing. Again, you can see just how important the draft is here. I was able to draw right up on Walking Avenger here from several car links back. It's everything at these super speedways. I mean, you can click off a lot of fast times, a lot of high speeds, and this is a very difficult part of the race. You can see the huge run by the 41 car. But I remember this part of the race. The 48 car, which is ahead of Walking Avenger, he's not an overly experienced racer. He's just trying to learn the game, which is very cool. Love having him in this league. It's fun racing him. But again, this is a very different type of racing, and he did struggle a little bit to hold a line. And I think there's a number of moments here where guys kind of get underneath him trying to draft with him, and it causes some issues trying to draft him. And again, it doesn't take much here when you're drafting. It does not take much to cause an issue. So we'll take a look and see what happens here. Yeah, right there's the one where Walking Avenger kind of gets pushed down into the apron, just completely unintentional. And so now I'm behind the same car, and so I'm now trying to read the way he goes in the corners and trying to figure out what's the best way to draft him, what's the best way to maybe pass him if drafting him really isn't working. And so at some point I realize if he goes up the track really far, I'm going to try to make the move underneath him and try to get around him. I think that's what happens here. But there's one instant there where he kind of moves up the track, and I'm trying not to get into him. So and I think here's the other one where he goes up the track, and then I try to go underneath him. Yeah, right there it is. And then he comes down and kind of gets me into the apron, and that's certainly no good here. So here we are, losing the draft a little bit just because of that issue with the 48, but really happy about this here. I do a really good job of getting the car down to speed before the line, but I spent a lot of that time kind of outbraking those other guys, and I was able to catch most of the pack there. So that was a pretty successful pit stop for me. We're pretty spread out when we come out, but then I kind of check up a little bit and get Earn It 3 to come up behind me. So now we're in a 3 or 4 car draft here, and we're kind of hoping to catch the leaders here, which is Fluffy and J-Mons. They're like 8 or 9 seconds in front of us, and we're thinking at this point maybe a good clean 4-car draft can catch those guys before the end of the race, and then we can have a shootout at the end. And so our goal here is not try to pass each other. That will slow us down. We really just want to draft each other and just push each other and try to catch those 2 leaders. So after several laps of this 4-car draft, we really didn't make up a whole lot of time on those 2 leaders. I think we cut off like 4 or 5 tenths of a second, maybe half a second. And so this is the last lap, so we're obviously not going to be able to get the win. So at this point, these 4 cars, we're just kind of racing and trying to see who can get the best finish. I try to get a run on MC Hash Brown 84, but there's really nothing to it. He's going to get the 3rd place, and I'm going to finish in the 4th position, which I'm okay with. I'm very happy with that finish. It's a long race. A lot of things happened, a lot of cautions, and really things that are kind of out of your control. I kind of made a couple of mistakes myself, cost some other guys some stuff, but really at the end of the day, we were able to come away with a top 5, and I'm really happy with that. It's a great start to the season, and hopefully can do just as well or better moving forward in other races. They're very different types of races coming up, nothing at all like super speedway racing, but this race was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. A lot of clean racing guys out there, lots of fun. And I think I'm really going to enjoy racing in this league. Let's jump and take a look at the point standings here. Because of the stage points, I was able to move up and get a 2nd place, but that's a good look at the points. But hey, hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're going to jump out, and we'll be back at Auto Club next week.